Exterior, planet of monastery, day. A lush green plateau with tree-filled mountains ringing three sides. Ahsoka's spaceship is parked near a cliff edge. Luke, Ahsoka, Ben, Brea, and Morena walk through the knee-high grass heading to cliff's edge. Below, covered in overgrowth, is an ancient stone monastery. Ahsoka. It was once the most remote monastery of the Wills. They take the breathtaking scene in. Ahsoka. And it's been waiting all this time to be reborn. A long silence. Luke looks at Ahsoka. Luke. Looks like we've got a lot of work to do. Ahsoka, eyes fixed on monastery. We certainly do. Interior ritual room, Tina, night. A cloaked group of 9, evenly spaced in a circle. The Knights of Ren. Low light. One of the figures speaks. It is Senator Snoke. Snoke. We have to move quickly and at the same time to eliminate the Chancellor and General Organa. Kylo, off-screen. I propose something different. Heads turn in surprise toward the sound of the voice. At the far end of the room, Kylo appears. To his complete opposite side, Snoke lowers his hood. Snoke. What are you doing here? Kylo steps further into the room. Kylo. My military service has ended. I'm here to be initiated into the Knights. Snoke. You don't come in here and demand anything. Kylo creeps closer. Kylo. Oh, but I do. He extends both hands, gesturing at the circled figures. Kylo. My father created this. He drops his hands. Kylo. Be thankful I'm not here to claim it outright. Snoke. I would stop where you are. A few of the figures reach into their cloaks as if moving for weapons, but they do not draw them out. Snoke. I am the Grand Master. The Knights follow my orders. Kylo. But they bear my name. Kylo finally halts. To Snoke's surprise, several of the figures now present a threatening stance toward him. The circle of men are divided in loyalty and nervously shift about. Kylo. What to do? Long pause. I propose a trade-off. The men stare at each other. Kylo. Initiation as second High Master. For my father's secrets. Snoke snorts. Snoke. What secrets do you have that I don't know about? Kylo walks between two of the figures into the middle of the circle, eyes firmly fixed on Snoke. Kylo. I don't think. I know. Kylo stops directly in front of Snoke, and the two men up their stare-off game. Kylo. His secrets, hidden and entrusted only to me, will give you the Republic. Kylo turns his back to Snoke and again raises his arms in indication of the Knights. Kylo. And this fine group turns back to face Snoke. Kylo. We'll find those secrets. They go back to staring at each other. Exterior Monastery Plateau, day. The view from the plateau cliff has changed dramatically. The overgrowth is gone, and the ancient monastery of the Wills reborn. Lush lawns and ornamental vegetation abound. The complex is much larger than what was evident protruding from the overgrowth. Several large spaceships are parked to one side as well. Interior training veranda, Monastery of the Wills, day. About 4 dozen students of varying ages and galactic races, and sitting cross-legged on the floor, all with their eyes closed and meditating with the Force, each balancing an object before them. Among them are Ben, Brea, and Morena. Even Grogu is there. Ahsoka observes. Luke walks in, halts briefly to admire the class, and then proceeds to Ahsoka's side. He talks in a hushed voice. Luke. I'm leaving for Chandrila to get the remainder of Ben and Brea's possessions. Ahsoka. Don't forget this time to tell them everyone sends their love. Luke's light attitude suddenly slips away. Luke. I won't. Ahsoka, of course, immediately picks up on it. Ahsoka. You still haven't been able to connect with them. Luke's eyes drop, and he shakes his head. Ahsoka. Well, they're not upset with you. So it's not on their end. Luke looks back up at her. He tries flashing a playful smile, but it does little to help. He lets out a sigh and a nod, then turns and walks away. Her gaze follows him out the room. Exterior, planet of monastery, space. Luke's ship exits the atmosphere and enters space, then makes its hyperspace jump. Interior, Kylo's spaceship's base. Kylo's ship is in a hyperspace jump. He flicks a switch, and the craft drops out to reveal the planet of Monastery. Exterior, space. Kylo's ship makes its way down to the planet. Exterior, Monastery of the World's day. Ahsoka watches as Kylo's spaceship lowers for a landing next to the other spaceships. Exterior, lawn, Monastery of the World's day. Kylo walks away from the spaceship parking area and crosses onto the lawn as Ahsoka watches. He walks up to Ahsoka. Ahsoka. May I help you? Kylo smiles. Kylo. I sure hope so. Kylo stops in front of Ahsoka and is about to speak, but Ahsoka beats him to it. Ahsoka. You don't have an appointment. It's rather rude to drop in unannounced. Kylo's smile drops. Kylo. I'm sorry. I didn't know you had to. It was hard enough finding this place. Ahsoka cocks her head slightly. Kylo. Forgive me, but you're Ahsoka Tano, aren't you? Ahsoka. Yes. Kylo begins to act nervous. Kylo. My name's Kylo. Kylo Ren. My father was General Ren. I remember him speaking of you. Ahsoka. Ah, yes. I did meet him once. He was a colonel then. Very early on in the rebellion. Kylo. Yes. And I apologize for coming here without an invitation. I was hoping you could help me. Ahsoka remains silent, forcing Kylo to continue. Kylo. I have force ability. I don't know how good. I've always kept it to myself. But I heard about you beginning this academy. Ahsoka cuts him off quickly. Ahsoka. It's not an academy. That would imply some type of militarization. It's a monastery, as the name of this planet states. Kylo. Yes, I'm sorry. Monastery. I would like to join this monastery and learn more about the Force. If that's possible. If I'm not too old. Ahsoka smiles slightly. Ahsoka. Age isn't an issue, and I will need to talk to you a little more before giving you an answer. Kylo. Of course. Ahsoka eyes him keenly. Ahsoka. Is there anything else you would like to add? I sense that you're guarded, even defensive. Kylo. No. I guess just very nervous, I guess. Ahsoka remains silent for a moment and then raises an arm indicating he's welcome to proceed with her. Nervous nod from Kylo and he begins to walk with her. Kylo. Thank you. Interior Great Hall, Monastery of the Wills, later. Ahsoka and Kylo still together. Ben walks up. Ahsoka. Ben, this is Kylo Ren. Indicates Kylo. Kylo, this is Ben Solo. Indicates Ben. Both nod. Ahsoka. Kylo is our newest member. Please show him to the quarters. Morena has been watching the exchange, peering out from behind a large support column. With an upset and worried look on her, she continues to watch as Ben and Kylo move away from Ahsoka, heading in the opposite direction of her location. Exterior, Plaza of the Rebels, Coruscant, day. Large stone sculptures dedicated to the Battle of Endor. Endor itself, along with an X-Wing, a Y-Wing, the Millennium Falcon, Admiral Akbar's cruiser, and several other Rebel Alliance vessels. In the background is the old Jedi Temple, now a museum. A sparse crowd goes about their business. A Knight of Ren, Jashar Barisan, walks into view and heads for the massive sculpture of Endor. He slowly makes his way under the curved stone and heads for the base that connects with the large sphere. His fingers find their way to a slit in the stone. He looks about to see if anyone is watching, and then he begins to try to pry something from the slit. He finally is able to pull out what looks to be a data disk. Again he looks about before securing the disk away on his person and calmly walking away. Interior, Han and Leia's living quarters. Chandrilla, night. Luke is talking to Ahsoka via hologram. He is alone in the room. Ahsoka. Oh yes. Before you go, I just wanted to tell you we have a new member. Luke. Oh? Ahsoka. Yes. He dropped in unannounced, but we talked and I decided to accept him in for training. Luke simply nods. Ahsoka. His name is Kylo. Kylo Ren. That name immediately hits Luke. Ahsoka. Do you know of him? He's the son of Luke. Stern. I know who he is. Ahsoka immediately senses the tension. Is there something wrong? Luke. Very. Ahsoka. What is it? Momentary silence from Luke. He looks over his shoulder and then back at Ahsoka's hologram. Luke. I can't talk about it right now. I'll discuss it in person when I return. Exterior planet of monastery, space. Luke's spaceship drops out of hyperjump and cruises on down to the planet. Exterior monastery of the Wills, day. Ahsoka is waiting for Luke just outside of the monastery entrance. Luke walks up, and they both enter. Interior Great Hall, Monastery of the Wills, day. Ahsoka and Luke walking side by side. Ahsoka. I did sense defensiveness in him. Guarded. But he said he was just very nervous. Can you elaborate on your issue with him? Luke. Not right now. I'd rather meet him first. They continue to walk. Luke. Besides, it's an intricate story. Interior Kylo's living quarters, day. Kylo is rearranging some items. A door chime rings. He proceeds to the door and presses the button to open it. The door slides open and Breya is standing outside. Kylo. Yes? Breya. Shaman Tano and Skywalker request you meet them in the courtyard. Kylo. Thank you. Breya turns and walks away. Concern rushes through Kylo. Interior hallway, Monastery of the Wills, day. Kylo walks to the exit to the courtyard. He's in a mix of emotions and trying to create as many as possible. He exits into exterior courtyard, Monastery of the Wills, day. Kylo exits and walks to where Luke and Ahsoka are waiting. Kylo. You wanted to see me? Ahsoka. Yes, Kylo. Shaman Skywalker has just returned, and I felt it critical that we all meet. Kylo nods. Ahsoka. Have you ever met? Kylo. No. Looks at Luke. But my father did tell me stories about you. It's an honor to meet you. Both Luke and Ahsoka are reading Kylo's mixed emotions. Luke. Your father was a great general. A very cunning military man. A dodge and weave dance of the senses. Kylo. I just recently finished my service. I just figured there were other directions I needed to go. I just hope my father would understand. Luke smiles slightly. Luke. I'm sure he would. Brief silence. Luke. Pleasure to meet you. And welcome. Kylo. Thank you. Ahsoka. You may go. Kylo nods, turns, and walks away under the watchful eyes and senses of Luke and Ahsoka. Once gone, Luke and Ahsoka simply exchange looks. Interior, Shaman Meditation Chamber. Monastery of the Wills, night. Luke and Ahsoka are sitting apart from each other, both cross-legged. They have been having the talk. Tensions are high. Luke has just dropped the bomb on Ahsoka. She pulls back slightly. Ahsoka. You choked him to death? Ahsoka tries to process the information, all the while still looking at him. All Luke can do is wait until an appropriate time. Ahsoka. Just like your father. Her gaze moves away as she still tries to wrap her mind around the story she has just heard. Interior, Morena's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills, night. Morena is also meditating and searching in her mind. Morena's vision. She can see Kylo. It is a vision of the present. He is sleeping in his quarters. Then the vision changes to an image of the Knights of Ren's sinister meeting. and then it's gone into blackness. A new image slowly appears. Luke and Ahsoka, talking in the meditation room. Interior shaman meditation chamber, Monastery of the Wills. Luke looks down while trying to build what to say in his mind. Luke. The dark side just engulfed me. He looks up at Ahsoka, who's still looking away, lost in thought. Luke. It was very brief. Beat. But yes. Ahsoka looks back at him. They stare at each other. Luke. Jade brought me back. And then she died. Silent staring. Luke. My love for her is what did it. He looks away in thought. Luke. Knowing it was General Rin that killed her. Interior, Morena's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills. Morena's eyes open in shock and horror. Interior, shaman meditation chamber, Monastery of the Wills. Luke looks back up at Ahsoka. Luke. Tried to kill us both. Once again they stare at each other in silence. Interior hallway, Monastery of the Wills, night. Morena walks cautiously but determinedly down the hall. She stops outside Luke's living quarters and then presses the button to open the door. She enters. Interior, Luke's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills, night. Morena walks directly over to a fine-crafted wooden box, set upon a table of Luke's possessions. She stares at it, hesitating, working up enough courage to open it. Finally, she opens the box. Close-up of Luke's lightsaber in the box. She grabs it. Interior, shaman meditation chamber, Monastery of the Wills. Two friends stare at each other, filled with running emotions. And yet, suddenly, they both sense. Luke's face flips to complete shock. Ahsoka. I sense it too. They both race to their feet. Interior hallway, Monastery of the Wills, night. Luke and Ahsoka dash down the hall. You check the girls, I'll check the boys. Interior, Kylo's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills. Kylo is still asleep, watched by Morena. Behind her is the open door. Lightsaber hilt in one hand. The rage builds with each moment. Interior, Morena's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills. Ahsoka enters. Ahsoka. Morena! Interior, Kylo's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills. Morena's rage hits critical mass. She ignites the lightsaber and strikes. But as she crosses over to the downward strike, it flies out of her hand. Kylo's eyes open to see Morena shocked and turning around. They both look at Luke, standing just inside the room, holding the glowing lightsaber. Kylo assesses the situation, panics, and bolts by both, accusing Luke with his eyes as he flees the room. Interior hallway, Monastery of the Wills, night. Kylo runs down the hall in a mad dash to escape. In the background, Luke steps out of the room, still holding the active lightsaber. Luke. Kylo! Luke turns the lightsaber off. Luke. Kylo! Ahsoka comes trotting up to Luke's side. Ahsoka. Kylo! Exterior, planet of Aquila. A blue-green planet. Exterior, Gordonelle City, night. A seedy city. Shady characters of all kinds move about. Interior, seedy living quarters, Aquila. A second knight of Rin, Mauder Taken, stands by a table admiring a box. He opens it slowly to reveal Darth Vader's charred helmet. Exterior, Chandrilla Day. The government offices of the New Republic, and the scene of controlled chaos associated with life in the capital. Interior press room, Senate chambers, day. Galaxy press corps mingle about. Tension in the air, awaiting a big announcement from Senate Leader Snoke. Snoke enters and the room explodes in frantic activity. Snoke positions himself behind the podium and pauses for dramatic effect, squeezing just the right amount of it out. A master of the political craft. Snoke. I want to thank you all for being here, especially on such short notice. Looks into the main camera. talking to the galaxy. Snoke. First off, I want to dispel any rumors you may have heard that the ongoing investigations into the previous election for Chancellor have ended. They have not. So, you are probably wondering why this sudden press conference. Large screens set to either side suddenly light up with the official logo of the Senate Intelligence and Investigation Committee. Snoke. Often, as investigations unfold, evidence comes to light that while on the surface doesn't appear to have much correlation to the directive in front of you, but when given the time, and when that time is taken and used to wander down this new pathway, leads to other disturbing territory. The image on the large screen now changes to a front-page index of the investigation to be revealed. Snoke. Unfortunately, highly disturbing territory. Shocking territory. A political genius playing to his crowd. He looks down, sullen. Snoke. I didn't know what I should do. Looks back up. When I first received this information. All my years serving you in politics and previously in our great military, I had never faced such a difficult decision. It has been eating at me since receiving this information. Till now. Eyes look down. I still don't know if this is the right decision. Looks back up into the main camera. Or not. But I have always served you. First and foremost. Even above my personal opinions. So it is with tremendous sadness what I must now reveal. An image of Luke appears. Snoke. It has long been known that this man, moves head indicating photo, who you know as a hero to this republic. This man, General Luke Skywalker, the last of the Jedi Order, is the son of another great military general of the former republic, General Anakin Skywalker. Image now changes to Anakin Skywalker. Snoke. Both stellar in name throughout our galaxy. Image now changes to both Luke and Anakin. Snoke looks at the image. Snoke. Both revered. To the room. Snoke. Legends to everyone. Another dramatic pause. Snoke. Our history has taught us that Anakin Skywalker fought gallantly against overwhelming forces to defend the Jedi Temple during the purge of the Jedi Order, as the Emperor's Order 66 was carried out, eventually falling as well. Looks into the main camera. Snoke. During the rebellion and subsequent civil war after, we learned General Skywalker was in fact the son of this legendary man, with the same great abilities as his father Anakin. To the press corps. Maybe even more. Back to the main camera. Powerful abilities derived from what we call the Force. Mysticism to some, foolishness to others, and still to a few, sheer spirituality. The image now changes to that of the Monastery of the Wills. Snoke. This monastery, which General Skywalker and General Tana opened not long ago, is now the focal point of the return to teaching about the Force. The image now changes to Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. Snoke. But let us never forget its destructive side. Its dark side. A side that has brought cyclical ruin to this galaxy. Eyes shift. The last, eyes to the image, at the hands of these two men, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. Back to the press corps. And thus I come with terrible news from the evidence collected that cannot be disputed. Evidence that you will also receive shortly, directly into the camera. Darth Vader, the Emperor's enforcer, responsible for an unimaginable amount of death and destruction in our galaxy. A lord of the ancient Sith cult. Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker. No loud reaction in the room of any kind, just confusion. Snoke lets it process. As the reporters start to put it all together, he pounces. Snoke. General Luke Skywalker, the son of Anakin Skywalker, is the son of Darth Vader. The room explodes with flashes and questions. He raises his hands. Snoke, please, please. Gaze dashes back and forth while secretly relishing the moment. Pure acting craft. He motions for calm. Snoke, I realize this is devastating news, and now you see why I struggled with it so. To the reporters, Snoke, I see your confusion, your disbelief. Believe me, it is the same reaction I had. Back to the main camera. But the evidence is without question. Luke Skywalker is the son of Darth Vader. Slowly, silently looks around the room. He builds up a look of pain. Snoke. But it gets even worse. All eyes in the room are suddenly back focused upon him. Snoke. As if that could somehow be possible. Looks back into the main camera. Luke Skywalker has a twin. A twin sister. Looks around the room. And once again, this is from evidence that is beyond questionable. Evidence that will be in your possession shortly. That twin was adopted, in secret, to a dearly loved political family. Again, revered by the galaxy. And so was she. The image changes to Leia. Snoke. General Leia Organa. The room explodes worse than it did for Luke. Emotions run wild. Lights flash. Complete chaos. Snoke tries to shout over the noise. Snoke. Our heroes of the New Republic, our leaders who fought against the tyranny of the Empire, came from that very evil! Exterior high-rise apartment complex, Chandrilla, night. A large protest of a couple thousand surround the apartment building. Signs against Leia and Luke are visible, along with those referencing Darth Vader. Also a few picturing Mon Mothma and Chancellor Amir, with the words, they knew. The chant of arrest them carry up loud and clear to exterior, Han and Leia's living quarters balcony, Chandrilla, night. Leia and Han look down at the mass protest below. Han wraps an arm around Leia's back. Han, you knew this day would come, didn't you? Leia, I feared it, yes. Han tries his best to lighten the mood. Han, they seem very angry. Leia looks quickly at Han, giving a snort and a smirk of appreciation, and then back down to the crowd. Leia, there's way too many to be real. This has Snoke written all over it. More of his paid protests. Han, paid or not, we have to be very careful now. Leia nods. Interior, Shaman Meditation Chamber, Monastery of the Wills, night. Luke and Ahsoka have returned to their interrupted conversation. Luke. She doesn't even know what she did or why she was in Kylo's room. Ahsoka finds that interesting. Luke. Looking back now, it's happened before. A few times. She'd say things but not remember. I just never understood until now. I wrote it off as just being a child, denying to myself that it could be more. I guess I thought if I disconnected myself from the Force, that I would keep her disconnected too. That she'd be safe. That we'd be safe. Ahsoka lets it sink in before answering. Ahsoka. You ran away. A truthful cut to Luke, and it shows. Ahsoka. I understand. Believe me. I know all about trying to run away. Your father tried to stop me. I was his last hope for salvation. His last chance to keep him from turning to the dark side, but I ran away. I was overwhelmed with my own issues at the time, and I needed that space. But in taking that time to find myself, it unleashed Vader. Exterior lawn, Monastery of the Wills, day. The students are in session. Luke and Ahsoka are assisting a couple of students in giving correction to them. A spaceship slowly makes its way toward the landing area. Everyone is curious. Luke and Ahsoka tell the students to go back to their work, and then they walk over to the spaceship. Exterior landing zone, Monastery of the Wills, day. They arrive just as the spaceship sets down. The hatch on the ship opens, and a rush of news reporters are suddenly in their face, cameras and lights on. Reporter number 2. General Skywalker, do you deny being the son of Darth Vader? Luke, what? Luke and Ahsoka exchange shocked looks. Reporter 3. Have you known General Organa as your sister? Luke, what are you talking about? In the background, the students stop their exercise and stare curiously. Ahsoka, where have you heard this? Reporter 4, to Luke. Senator Snoke just issued a report implicating you and Organa as children of Darth Vader. Do you have any comment? Luke struggles, and before he can give an answer, another question flies out at Ahsoka. Reporter 2. Ahsoka Tano, you were a Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. Do you know he was Darth Vader? Did you know he had children? Ahsoka, Her eyes shift about. Luke, you have no right to be here. Please leave. Ahsoka, yes, please leave. You're disturbing our students. Wrong thing to say to the wolves. Reporter 3. Students! Do you know who General Skywalker really is? The students are looking at each other confused, including Ben and Brea. Marina has a worried look on her face. Luke. What? Ahsoka. That's enough! Get out of here! The reporters stand their ground. Reporter number 2. Are your students being taught to use the dark side? Luke. Enough! Luke waves his hand, and their equipment stops working. The reporters are now confused at the sudden failure of their equipment, but at least one of them figures it out. Reporter number 2. Hey! Turn our equipment back on! Ahsoka moves forward up to the group with her hands raised as if she's about to push them back. Ahsoka. You can go back into your ship on your own power, or ours. Brief banter back and forth before the reporters yield and retreat into the ship. Luke and Ahsoka look on as the ship remains motionless for a while, then engines ignite. They both step back from the ship as it begins to lift off of the ground. It rises, turns, and begins its ascent. They watch it disappear from sight and then look back at their students, who are in varying discussion. Ben, Brea, and Marina walk toward them. Brea looks briefly to the sky. Brea. What was that all about? Exterior Senate Building, Chandrilla Day. Normal traffic around the Senate Building. Interior Snoke's office, Senate Building Day. Snoke is sitting behind his desk, busy in work. Kylo enters the room at a fast walk, surprising Snoke. Snoke. Kylo, do you plan to make it a habit, coming in unannounced? Kylo stops at the desk, placing his fists upon it and leaning in a bit towards Snoke. Kylo. I want one of those artifacts I gifted to you back. Snoke secures his work away from Kylo's eyes before leaning back in the chair. Snoke. Ah, yes, your father's artifacts. I must say, they have done quite the job. Well done. Kylo, sarcastically. Then you can thank me by giving one back to me. Snoke's lips crease in brief contemplation, then an ever so slight nod. Snoke. It's possible. What do you need? Kylo. Vader's lightsaber. Snoke sits up suddenly confused. Snoke. Why would you need Vader's lightsaber? Why would you want Vader's lightsaber? Kylo. Luke Skywalker just tried to kill me. Snoke sits back in the chair. Snoke. Did he now? Where was this? He's been tucked away at his monastery. Kylo raises up off the table. Kylo. It was at the monastery. Snoke. Why would Skywalker want to kill you? At his monastery, of all places. And why were you there? Kylo. I went there to join them, to infiltrate them. Snoke. Infiltrate? I never gave you instructions to infiltrate his monastery. Kylo quickly returns to his previous posture of fists pressed down on the table and leaning in. Kylo, I hardly need your instruction. Snoke doesn't immediately reply. Snoke, I would be careful on your unilateral thought. You could find yourself in deep trouble. Kylo, please, spare me your political threats. Snoke, very well. What do you need the lightsaber for? Kylo raises up again. Kylo, I'm going to kill him. A sudden snort attempts to break from Snoke's mouth, but it is quickly subdued. Snoke now raises up back in his seat. Snoke, you? You plan to kill a former Jedi Master using a weapon you have no training for? Kylo, not just me. I'll ambush him with the Knights. Overwhelm him. Snoke shakes his head and again slides back in his chair. Snoke, you are not using my Knights. Kylo, your Knights? Must we go over this again? Snoke, no, we will not. You were too undisciplined, unlike your father. Perhaps that is my fault. Perhaps I failed you, failed him. I should like to think not. Kylo, I'm a military man. I know all about discipline. Snoke, but you are still young, and young ones always react before thinking. Speaking of, what did you hope to gain by infiltrating a monastery? Kylo places his hands on his hips. Kylo, I was planning on gaining his trust. Eventually. Snoke, and then? Kylo, and then kill him. Suddenly, when he least expected it, and those Solo kids after. Snoke, not a very well thought out plan. How long do you think it would take, after you've killed them all, for General Tano to kill you? Kylo is surprised by the scenario. Snoke rises to his feet and walks out from behind the desk. Snoke, your father was the most brilliant tactician I've ever known. Stops in front of Kylo. Snoke, and he failed to trap Skywalker. Snoke now face to face with Kylo. Snoke, why don't you just let me handle it? They stare off. Snoke, soon I'll have them all arrested. Kylo, I don't want him arrested. He turns back at Snoke. Kylo, I want him dead! Snoke, I made a promise to your father that I would do everything in my power to accomplish his goal. Snoke walks back up to Kylo. Snoke, you have been a good boy, Kylo. A good man. We want the same thing. Let me handle it. Brief silent exchange of stares, and then Snoke turns and begins back for his chair. Snoke, but if you want the lightsaber, turns as he reaches his chair. Snoke, by all means. It's your funeral. He sits back in his chair. Snoke, but you will not use my Knights. Interior Han and Leia's living quarters, Chandrilla night. Leia, Han, and Chewie are sitting in the room talking. Door chime rings. Leia walks over and answers the door. It opens to reveal Mon Amir, sullen look on her face. Leia, you have that Snoke look on your face. Mon Amir walks in past Leia. Mon Amir, treasonous piece of filth! Han and Chewie look over at the commotion. Mon Amir turns back to face Leia. Leia shuts the door. Mon Amir, they gave him his inquiry. Leia now walks by Mon Amir and heads back to Han and Chewie. Leia, this is ridiculous. Chewie growls in agreement. Leia sits back down. Mon Amir walks over but doesn't sit down. Mon Amir, they'll be calling everyone in. Expect a subpoena soon. Interior ritual room. Tina, night. A knight, Snoke's main henchman, Zarks, is standing waiting. Snoke, dressed in his ritual cloak, walks in. Snoke, this better be good. This is a dangerous time to risk a meeting. Mon Amir and Organa have their spies and assassins as well. Zarks, your boy has been trying to gather the Knights, as many as he can. For what, I don't know. Snoke, my boy. Snoke turns his back on Zarks and stands silently contemplating. Snoke, what shall I do about my boy? Exterior landing zone, Monastery of the Wills, day. The family is gathered among the park's spaceships. Luke and Ahsoka are with Leia, Han, Morena, Brea, Ben, Chewie, as well as C-3PO and R2-D2. Luke kneels and hugs Morena. Leia and Han hug Ben and Brea. Leia: hopefully this will all be seen as the joke it is, and it'll be over soon. Han: stay out of trouble. Han flashing his sly smile. The kids grin back. Ahsoka: both of you'll be in charge while we're away. We've left you instructions. They both nod. Luke caresses Morena's face. Luke: be good. You do what they say. He nods. Luke: no questioning. Morena nods back. Luke kisses her on the forehead. Luke: I love you more than I can say. Morena: I love you too, Uncle. Luke stands up. Luke: well, let's go. The group heads for the Millennium Falcon. Han hangs back and Luke notices. Luke looks at him. Han: I got a bad feeling about this. Luke: yeah, me too. Han shakes his head. The two proceed toward the Falcon. Leia is the only one who hasn't entered. She is standing at the ramp when Luke and Han arrive. All three look back at the children. Luke heads up the ramp. Han and Leia look back one last time. Leia: love you. Han nods in agreement. Brea: we love you too. Ben: love you too. Han and Leia smile, but with a sense of foreboding. They turn and head up the ramp. Brea waves. Brea: we'll see you soon. Morena is in a trance again. Morena: no, you won't. Brea turns as if she didn't quite hear correctly. Morena: they're not coming back. Horror in Brea's face. Brea: that's an awful thing to say. Ben looks over at Brea's sudden outburst. Morena breaks from her trance at the shout. Brea: how could you? Morena looks up at Brea confused. Brea: you are so evil! Brea storms away as tears begin to slide down her face. She tries to wipe them away. Morena looks at Ben. Morena: what? What did I say? Exterior, Monastery of the Wills, day. The Millennium Falcon raises up, turns, and slowly pulls away. Exterior alley, Chandrilla night. Rain-covered ground, but no rain at the moment. Zarks waits. A figure turns into the alley, a woman dressed in casual clothes and an unbuttoned coat. She is Captain Rue, of the Corvette Resilient. She stops upon seeing Snoke's henchman, surprised. Captain Rue: you! Zark straightens his posture. Captain Rue continues up to the henchman. Captain Rue: I didn't expect you. Zarks: then you know how important this is. Captain Rue: I'm due on my ship. Zarks: I know, after spending quality time with your family. Captain Rue understands the undertone. Zarks: your former second-in-command has been attempting to contact former shipmates. Captain Rue listens to the directive. Zarks: he has mentioned an attempt on his life by Luke Skywalker at his Monastery of the Wills. He wants revenge. You will file this report and begin an investigation. Ryu's chin raises a bit, but she just stands there saying nothing in return. Zarks: but before it really gets anywhere, your ship will be sabotaged. It will fire on the Senate inquiry chamber, the very one you were assigned to protect. Shock from Ryu, but she remains obedient and silent. Zarks: just one should do. And you will lock down your ship, as you should. You know what to do with the rest. Ryu recovers and becomes stern and rigid. Angry. Captain Ryu: and I'll be court-martialed. Zarks: they will attempt that at first, but in the end your name will be cleared, your family will be safe, and you will get a promotion to Commodore for weeding out the vile murderers. Interior Pax Space Dock. Kylo's ship parked among the many ships in the dock. Interior cockpit Kylo's spaceship. Kylo watches as Tarkin approaches. He gets out of his chair. Interior Pax Space Dock. The ramp opens and Kylo walks down. The two men meet up at the bottom of the ramp. Tarkin: I've got Yashara, Bhakti, Siora, and Elise. Kylo nods with a smile. Tarkin walks by him up the ramp. Tarkin. I don't trust Elise. Tarkin enters the ship. Kylo soon follows. The ramp closes shut. Interior courtyard, Monastery of the Wills, day. The students are all practicing under the watchful eyes of Brea and Ben. In one corner are Morena and Grogu. Morena giggles while leaning over to speak to Grogu. She whispers in one ear. Morena. Can you lift me off the ground? Grogu. Lift you, I can. Grogu extends his hand, begins to lift Morena off the ground. Her giggle turns into an audible laugh. Ben looks over to where the two are playing. He sighs and walks over to confront them. Ben, what are you two doing? Morena giggles as she hovers slightly off the ground. Morena, I'm floating! She giggles again. Ben, Grogu? Please put Rey down. Grogu lowers Morena to the ground. In the background, Brea is watching with a sour look on her face. Ben, it's not playtime. Please go back to your studies. Morena lowers her head. Morena, okay, Ben, I'm sorry. Grogu, sorry I am? Ben pats them both on the head. Ben, it's okay. Just don't do it again. The two younglings nod. Exterior Senate Building, Chandrila, day. The inquiry is in session. Protesters are outside, along with those supporting the accused. A tense situation, all being documented by the galaxy's news crews. Interior, Senate Inquiry Chamber, Senate Building, day. A packed chamber, with the accused sitting behind long tables accompanied by lawyers, facing the Senate Investigative Committee, chaired by Snoke. A large gallery of onlookers watches the historic event. Han is sitting in the forefront of the gallery along with Chewie and Ahsoka. In the back, positioned near the doors, are C-3PO and R2. At the tables, with their lawyers alongside each, sit Luke, Leia, Mon Amir, and Mon Mothma. Leia. And I will not tolerate this political stunt of yours. This is all about you losing the election and not being able to come to terms with it. Snoke. Do you deny being the daughter of Anakin Skywalker, who later became the Sith Lord known as Darth Vader? Leia. My entire life was in the service of this republic, from before it was ever formed. My father, Bail Organa, raised me to be as dedicated to the cause of freedom for all as he was. He gave his life in that fight. All of Alderaan did. Snoke. So you claim here, to this committee, that Bail Organa was your birth father and not Anakin Skywalker. Leia hesitates under the obvious trap. Snoke's lips crease ever so slightly into a smile. Snoke. I'm waiting, General Organa. Do you deny that Anakin Skywalker is your birth father? Leia. My father for my entire life was Bail Organa, and... Snoke. A simple yes or no to the question will do, General. Leia is halted, trapped. Snoke. Yes, Anakin Skywalker is your birth father, or no, Anakin Skywalker is not your birth father. Leia's lawyer moves in and places her hand over the microphone and begins to talk into her ear. Leia responds with a few words into the lawyer's ear. The lawyer drops her hand and leans into the mic. Leia's lawyer. We respectfully ask the committee for a break so that counsel may further advise the client. Snoke beams in delight and exchanges look with the fellow senator to his side. A quick debate among the two, and Snoke switches on his microphone. Snoke. Very well. The committee will now take recess so that the accused may have further legal counsel in this matter. Snoke bangs a gavel. Exterior space, cruiser Resilient. The cruiser Resilient in orbital security detail. Interior bridge, cruiser Resilient. Captain Ryu on her bridge. A bit anxious, but playing off normalcy as much as possible, as a crew member hands her a manifest for her to clear. She hands it back and the crew member leaves. Then she turns to gaze out the bridge window and eyes the planet below, lost in thought. Exterior space. Kylo's ship passes. Interior hallway Senate building day. The hallway outside the Senate chamber is crowded and busy with dialogue of all kinds. Luke, Leia, and Han are standing in a group along with C-3PO and R2-D2. With them are Mon Amir and Mon Mothma. Ahsoka and Chewie are noticeably absent. The team of lawyers pass and enter the chamber room. A Senate assistant passes the other way and stops just inside the hallway. Senate assistant. The recess has ended. The session is to be called back to order. Please return to your places. A nod, and the assistant walks back into the chamber. Those in the hall slowly begin to move for the entrance. Luke and the group stay together, still talking. Interior antechamber, Senate building day. Snoke and the senator who was seated at his side walk through the chamber. The sergeant-at-arms stops Snoke. Sergeant-at-arms. Sir, there is an urgent matter I need to discuss with you. Snoke and the senator exchange worried looks at each other and the sergeant. Snoke. Why, yes. You go on. The other senator gives a nod and exits the antechamber, while Snoke is led out to the opposite direction by the sergeant. Interior hallway, Senate building day. Luke and the group start to walk for the door, but Luke catches the approach of Ahsoka and Chewie down the hall. Luke stops. Leia sees this and does the same. 3PO and R2 also halt. Luke turns to Leia. Luke, I'll be in shortly. Luke walks toward the oncoming Ahsoka and Chewbacca. Leia gives a brief look and then turns and enters the chamber. C-3PO is confused as to if he should go in or not. He decides to wait, and so R2 stays as well. Ahsoka and Chewie meet up with Luke. Luke, anything? Ahsoka, no. I don't think the danger is here directly, but you know as well as I. It's strong. Luke nods and then turns to begin for the chamber entrance. Ahsoka and Chewie alongside. Exterior space, cruiser resilient. The cruiser fires. One shot to the planet below. Interior bridge, cruiser resilient. Captain Ryu turns her head sharply. A nearby bridge crewman frantically scours the screens in front of him as other crew members also react in shock. Bridge crewman. Captain! Unauthorized main battery discharge! The bridge erupts into emergency procedures before Captain Ryu can even get an order out. Captain Ryu. Red alert! Lock all systems down! Exterior planet of monastery. Kylo's spaceship passes and heads down to the surface. Exterior landing zone, Monastery of the Wills, day. Ben and Breya are working on an engine of Ahsoka's spaceship. They stop upon seeing Kylo's ship approach for a landing at the far end of the compound from their position. They exchanged puzzled looks. Breya. Isn't that Kylo's ship? Exterior field, Monastery of the Wills, day. Kylo's ship lands. The ramp opens, and the fully armed Knights of Ren are led down the ramp by Kylo. A monastery student, a teenager, approaches. The student raises her hands in confusion. Monastery student. What are you doing? A single blaster shot cuts her down. Exterior landing zone, Monastery of the Wills, day. Ben and Breya have heard the shot. Ben. What the? Breya dashes away from Ben. Breya. Come on! The two are quickly in a full-out run for the monastery. Exterior Senate building, Chandrilla, day. Complete chaos outside of the heavily damaged building. Casualties are evident. Interior hallway, Senate building, day. Smoke and dust. Debris is everywhere, but the hallway is still amazingly somewhat intact. The blare of the emergency alarm can be heard, but it is emanating from a distant location somewhere down the hall. Faint coughs. Faint moans. Then the strong coughs of Luke and Ahsoka. The dust settles enough to see them struggle to push themselves up, both still coughing. A sizable chunk of debris moves and Chewbacca raises up his torso. Luke. Are you okay? Ahsoka coughs again, nods. Chewbacca groans. Ahsoka. Yeah. You? Luke nods and slowly, gingerly stands, helping Ahsoka up in the process, his mechanical hand showing through a torn-up glove. Chewbacca follows suit. They take in the devastation around them. Luke removes the ruined glove and drops it to the ground. Ahsoka sees R2 on the floor of the hallway up against the remaining wall. Ahsoka. R2! Luke spots C-3PO among the chunks of debris. Luke. 3PO! They move to assist the droids. 3PO is missing a leg and he has a slight dent in his head, but his eyes are still lit. His head moves about. C-3PO.
Oh my! What just happened?
Ahsoka struggles to prop R2 up until Chewie gets to them, and Chewbacca easily raises R2 upright. Ahsoka. R2, are you okay? R2 responds with beeps and a shake of his dome. Luke grabs hold of 3PO and raises his torso up. C-3PO.
Master Luke, I don't believe I know what happened.
Luke looks toward the destroyed chamber. Luke. There was an explosion of some kind. Luke steps away from 3PO and walks toward the destroyed chamber. Ahsoka and Chewbacca leave R2. Ahsoka. Stay with 3PO, R2. R2 beeps in the affirmative. Luke, Ahsoka, and Chewie enter interior Senate inquiry chamber. Senate building, day. Sunlight pours in from the massive hole in the roof. The chamber has virtually been obliterated. Debris and dust are all that are clearly evident. Nothing else can be made out. Luke. Leia! Chewbacca wails, calling out for Han. Interior Luke's living quarters, Monastery of the Wills, day. Morena rushes into the room. Blaster fire and screams can be heard. Morena hurriedly opens the wooden box and grabs Luke's lightsaber. Interior Great Hall, Monastery of the Wills, day. Kylo has Vader's lightsaber through one of the students. He pulls it back out and the lifeless body falls to the floor. Kylo suddenly senses Morena behind him. He spins, carrying the red lightsaber to block the strike at him from Morena. In one whipping motion, the red lightsaber of Vader flings the green lightsaber of Luke out of Morena's hands, and it tumbles across the floor. Morena and Kylo stand face to face, both shocked. Morena's fear, though, has frozen her in place. Kylo quickly recovers, and an image suddenly flashes through his mind. Insert. The scene of Kylo in his bed and Morena turning as the lightsaber flies out of her hand and back to Luke. Kylo points the lightsaber at Morena accusingly. Kylo. You. It was you that tried to kill me. A puzzled and questioning look flashes across his face, but only momentarily. It is quickly replaced with a determined anger. Kylo swings to strike Morena down, but his blow is now suddenly blocked by Luke's green lightsaber. Breya pushes Vader's saber away from Morena. Breya. Run, Rey! Morena struggles with the scene in front of her. Breya. Rey, run! Breya takes a haphazard and obviously untrained swing at Kylo, and he blocks. Morena spins around and sees Ben is in the background. Ben. Rey! For Breya, the battle is all too brief. Kylo knocks the lightsaber out of her hand. It goes flying behind her, shutting off as it hits the ground and tumbling in the same direction as the fleeing Morena. Breya's head turns to follow the lightsaber's flight, then quickly looks back at Kylo. In the distance, behind Kylo, Tarkin appears and raises his blaster in a defensive move, not firing. Breya steps back from Kylo, and Kylo steps forward. Kylo. Finally. He raises his lightsaber, but before he can make any attempt at striking her, he is force put. Kylo flies back toward where Tarkin is standing, and he was caught off guard. He looks up to see Grogu, standing up in his floating carriage, arms extended. Breya turns to see Grogu as well. Breya. Grogu? Tarkin turns and fires at Grogu. The carriage is hit and explodes, flying backward in the momentum. Breya. Grogu! Breya darts over to the wreckage of the carriage, while in the background Tarkin helps Kylo to his feet. Breya searches frantically for Grogu. Breya. Grogu! Grogu! Ben, off-screen. Breya, come on! Breya gives one last look and then turns and darts away, just in time to miss a blaster bolt from Tarkin. He fires again and misses as he turns the corner and disappears out of sight. Interior hallway, Monastery of the Wills, day. Breya races down the hall past the lightsaber on the floor, then stops herself. She goes back to retrieve Luke's saber and then runs back down the hall. Exterior, Monastery of the Wills, day. Ben has Morena on one shoulder. He sees Breya appear from the building and waits just long enough for her to get close before beginning a dash for the landing zone. Breya is soon right behind him. Interior, Great Hall, Monastery of the Wills, day. Tarkin and Kylo search the area around Grogu's destroyed carriage. Tarkin. Can't find it. Kylo heads toward the hallway. Kylo. Forget about it. Come on. Exterior, Monastery of the Wills, day. Kylo and Tarkin exit the building only to watch Luke's spaceship rise from the landing zone. Tarkin fires and strikes the ship. It turns and speeds off as he fires again. Another blaster shot comes from elsewhere on the monastery compound as the ship races up into the sky. Interior, Senate Inquiry Chamber, Senate Building, day. Luke, Ahsoka, and Chewie wander aimlessly in the debris. Chewie wails in agony. A couple of security guards appear in the background, and then followed by a few more first responders. Another agonizing growl from Chewbacca. Luke. Leia. Han. Ahsoka has no words of comfort for the two at her side. Luke's eyes catch Chewbacca's, and there is a brief moment before the two hug each other. Ahsoka soon joins them in a three-way hug. At the same time, Luke and Ahsoka sense another catastrophe. The attack on their monastery. Luke. No. He shakes his head ever so slightly. Ahsoka's pain is evident on her face, and her breathing intensifies. Ahsoka. It can't be. Luke looks at Chewbacca. Luke. Chewie, we have to get back to the monastery. Something terrible has happened there too. Chewie groans and shakes his head in disbelief. The three turn and begin to head for the hallway, and they are met by two of the first responders and a security guard. They briefly explain that they are all right and that they must leave as some other event has happened where they must get to as fast as they can. They are allowed by, and the three head out of what is left of the chamber. As they make their way into the hallway, on the opposite end of the chamber, Snoke appears with the sergeant-at-arms. Exterior Monastery of the Wills, day. Silence. Tarkin and Khaleesi walk out of the building and meet up with Kylo. Tarkin. Everyone's dead, except for that green thing. We couldn't find it. Kylo looks at the building. Kylo. Burn it. He turns and walks toward his ship. Tarkin and Khaleesi return inside. Exterior space, Candrilla. The Millennium Falcon appears from the atmosphere and jumps into hyperspace. Interior Millennium Falcon cockpit. Chewbacca is at the controls. Ahsoka is seated as co-pilot and Luke is standing in between and just behind them. The rush of hyperspace jump in front of them. They are silent. Luke turns and exits the cockpit. Interior Millennium Falcon, central hold area. Luke sits down, the devastation in him clear. He watches as R2 tries to weld C-3PO's damaged leg back on. 3PO motions wildly. C-3PO.
The damage is too severe, R2. You'll never get it on.
R2 beeps. C-3PO.
Master Luke, please don't send me to the scrapyard. Perhaps another leg can be found.
Luke. You know I'd never send you to the scrapyard. C-3PO.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Luke. We'll find you another leg, 3PO. Don't worry about that. R2 beeps again. C-3PO.
R2, don't say things like that. Perhaps Leia and Han will be found alive. I know the odds are.
3PO looks up at Luke and immediately stops. C-3PO.
Oh my. I'll just stop talking about it.
Luke's head drops as he raises his hands to meet it. Ahsoka steps into the hold. She silently passes and then sits right up next to him, then embraces him from the side. Luke raises his head, a bit startled at the sudden hug. Luke. I can't believe they're gone. Luke looks around the hold area. Luke. So many memories here. So many. Luke leans into Ahsoka and Ahsoka rubs his back. Exterior space, planet and monastery. The Millennium Falcon exits hyperspace and proceeds down to the planet. Exterior planet and monastery, night. The monastery burns. The Millennium Falcon peers into view. Interior Millennium Falcon cockpit, night. Luke is back inside, once again standing behind the seated Chewbacca and Ahsoka. The burning monastery gets closer by the second. Luke simply shakes his head. Exterior landing zone, Monastery of the Wills, night. The Falcon lands next to Ahsoka's ship. The ramp pops open and lowers to the ground. Soon all three are exiting. Upon reaching the ground, they stop briefly before moving forward. R2 is soon coming down the ramp as well, and follows as they walk toward the burning building. Exterior lawn, Monastery of the Wills, night. The group comes upon the first dead student. Luke kneels down to examine the body. Ahsoka. Killed by a lightsaber. Ahsoka looks around. Ahsoka. We'll spread out. Ahsoka and Chewie walk away from Luke and R2. Luke is staring at the dead student, tormented. He raises his mechanical hand and places it onto R2. Tears well up and one breaks free. The anger builds. The dark side grows inside him. Anakin off screen. I sense the conflict in you, son. Luke raises his head, stunned by the voice. There, before him, is his father's Force ghost. Luke. Father? Anakin. Luke. Luke stares, speechless. Anakin. Welcome back to the Force, son. Luke. I've been cut off so long. I didn't know how. Anakin. I know. But you have returned and the Force is with you. Luke looks at the burning monastery, then down at the dead student in front of him. Luke. All I want is revenge. He looks back at his father. Luke. But. He shakes his head. Anakin. But you're afraid you'll become what I became. Luke. This is something Vader would do. They must be stopped. Anakin. Vader did do this. Luke is confused. Anakin. Vader's lightsaber did this. It is filled with his dark side energy. Luke. Vader's lightsaber? Who would have his lightsaber? The answer quickly comes to Luke. Luke, to himself. Snoke's evidence. Back to Anakin. Snoke did this? Anakin. His protege, Kylo Ren. Luke is suddenly swamped by a mixture of emotion again. Luke. He couldn't have done this alone. Anakin. He didn't. Luke stands to be face to face with Anakin. Anakin. Track them down. Luke. But if I go after them, I'm afraid. His words halt in the air. He struggles with what to say. Anakin. You're afraid it will lead you down the path I took. Luke simply stares at his father. Anakin. You are not me, Luke. You never were. That's why you were able to save me. You know how to use the dark side. I didn't. I was full of fear. I couldn't contain it. You contain it with love. You keep it on a leash where it belongs, necessary only at your command. You've always had control of the dark side, same as my Padawan. You and Ahsoka are the way forward. I have brought balance to the Force. Through both of you, it will be maintained. Exterior courtyard, Monastery of the Wills, night. Ahsoka enters the courtyard, bathed in the ghastly glow of the fire. She stops suddenly. Ahsoka. Grogu? Ahsoka looks about. Ahsoka. Grogu? In the distance, Grogu pokes his head out from behind a large stone planter. He then reveals himself to Ahsoka. Ahsoka. Grogu! Ahsoka trots toward him. Grogu raises his arms. Grogu. Ahsoka. Ahsoka reaches the outstretched arms of Grogu, kneels, and picks him up in a tight embrace. Ahsoka. Oh, Grogu! Ahsoka rises and sways back and forth, still hugging Grogu. Grogu. All gone they are.